So, my apartment complex just contacted me a few weeks ago saying that they need to do some kind of green upgrades on our apartments. They wanted to update, do something to our showers and to our sink, and apparently to our heating thing, this thing over here on the wall. And turns out they came in and they updated my shower, basically just making it so that the water now dribbles out and doesn't actually come out. They informed me that we also need to do something to the thermostat thing over here, and that they need that is obstructed, and I have to move what's in the way, so they can do their 5 minutes of work to ruin whatever they're doing there. Yay! So this shelf was the first shelf that I had put up when I moved in here. And once I established myself and actually had a decent amount of money where I could actually afford stuff again, the first thing I did is I completed my childhood Star Wars collection. So now, just like everything else that's been going on, I have to get rid of something that I really care about and shove it in a shoebox. So I just wanted to at least get a little video of what the shelf used to look like. Now I have at least something to remember it by, so I can have that empty space for 5 minutes so that they can do whatever they need to do. So, it's basically a full run of the original Star Wars figures. I have some of the fun variants. No like dual telescoping or anything, but I do have really minty versions of some of my favorite figures. This is actually my childhood vinyl cape Jawa. Of course, the vinyl cape is long since gone. This one is actually my uncle's, or step uncle, or whatever he is. The one he had as a child as well, also no vinyl cape. My absolute favorite figure of all time is Jedi Knight Luke with a pop-up lightsaber. Our Salacious Crumb has somehow been able to sit on this corner for 20 years, but now he goes in a box. This is the little monster that came with the trash compactor, the Dianaga. Probably one of the ugliest figures ever. My little die-cast figure of Luke. That's a clone trooper. He doesn't belong here. As everybody who knows, I'm kind of a fan of the Murder Bears, and aside from Paplu, who I accidentally traded, I have a full set of complete Murder Bears up here that are now going in a box. Lumat, Warwick, some more of the die-cast. The die-cast ones are from my childhood as well. Here's the elusive Cloud City communicator. We've got pop-up R2-D2 with his little lightsaber in there. You got Lando with his black blaster and his cape. Chief Chirpa. Now you probably can't see half of these on the screen because I'm terrible at videos, but here we go. Anakin Skywalker. We got Tebow. There's Chief Chirpa, low gray staff. So I've also got a lot of like the weird variants for the Ewoks. Like I have the different stripe colors for Tebow, Animaniman. Oops. I actually didn't realize I actually have some of the microphones for the Rebo band. So we get Droopy with his black flute. This is Come Apart C-3PO because he's actually stays together. A lot of them, I noticed I never put the blasters in their hands for whatever reason. I've got a lot of extra accessories that are just kind of sitting on the edge here. We're just going to slide them all in there. Extra staffs, and for some reason I have Jetfire's gun clip sitting up here. That's been here about 15 years. One of the figures I do need to upgrade is the Droid Factory R2. Mine does not have a sticker. Let's see, R5. Really nice sticker, but he's not a red bar, so he's garbage apparently. Sice Noodles. Max Rebo. Back here, of course, we have Prune Face with his almost Jedi Luke cape. Here's just a generic Obi-Wan with no lightsabers. Some of these probably did need to be upgraded. I bought them and just never put them up here, so if I am ever to put the shelf back up again somewhere else, that of course isn't in front of the thermostat, I will definitely upgrade them with all the weapons I've picked up over the years. Well, I had two of the microphones. Let's see. I see somebody falling behind the shelf. I can rescue him without killing the Tauntaun. Oh, we killed the Tauntaun. Oh, it was just Greedo. Sorry, Luke. Let's see. Forlom, he was the first one I ever mailed away for. He's always been one of my favorites. I'm a sucker for the cloth goods, so despite Bib Fortuna being one of the most common shelf warmer figures, he'll always be my top tier figures. Squidhead, Nien Nunb, both of them. I just loved all of the Jedi figures. I'm not gonna lie. The Gamorrean Guard is one of my favorites. I think there's a couple of them up here actually. Some of them, of course, the rare last 17, Barada. Some of these are just literally falling off the shelf. Like here's Klaatu. And again, these haven't been touched in 20 years. Here's my original princess. Not my first one from when I was a child, but this is the first one I got for my collection, and she is quite dirty. Han Solo with his blaster. Oh crap. Rebel Soldier with his little doohickey. That was funny is the only figure that's not on the shelf is Yak Face, who I had just got, and I was going to do a whole big thing of, adding him to shelf, but I'm not going to have the time to do that. So when I redo the shelf, Yak Face will be the last one I put on. I've since gotten a much better version of him. His cape is actually taped on. So, again, definitely worth upgrading some of these. Obviously the common ones like Akbar and Weequay, they're just fine. I'm going to need more than this shoebox. But there's just blasters like laying around that I need to actually put in their hands. This is Droid C-3PO done in the gold instead of yellow. That was like a weird made in Spain figure. They're like bendies that came out a little later in the series. And again, Klaatu, 88. Losing some figures here, but then, of course, IG-88, one of the best bounty hunters. Screw you, Boba Fett. My $10 Barada. So, you can hang out here. That's actually his original staff. One of the more expensive figures now, who used to be one of the cheapest, is, of course, Endor Leia, who was the very last figure that I got as a child. Some figures. So there actually was a Death Star droid on the shelf. I remember the last time I looked on the shelf, I was like, I can't find him on there. So I actually bought another one. He had just fallen behind the shelf. So we've got Nikto, another one of my favorites. I love the Jedi characters, despite them being common. One of the bounty hunters. These are a little dusty. Definitely got a better version of him. So what I think I'm going to do is when I do put the shelf back up, here's this piece of crap, Boba Fett. When we put the shelf back up, I'm actually going to put them on stands so I have a little bit better control. Here's my $5 Leia blaster that I picked up. Let's see. Yoda was one of the first, Palace Blaster, was one of the first complete figures that I bought when I started to collect for the third time. General Nadine's toilet scrubber, black blaster. And I got most of these before repro was a thing, so I'm pretty sure most of what's up here is good, but I am going to double check some of the accessories. And again, Jedi Luke. This one actually has his normal lightsaber. We got Lando. Not sure why he's holding his gun like that, but whatever. One of the things I was getting really into, and I believe I have all major ones here, these all have their blasters at some point, is I loved variations. So I have 3 different variations on the coat design for Trenchcoat Han. At least one of them has a blaster. Well, that's interesting. I was going out of my way to get a Nadine with his toilet scrubber, and apparently I have 2 of them. So, 20 years of collecting is going to do that to you. Here's my original R2-D2. His dome is very dusty, and it's actually lost some of its shine, so... I'm only halfway through the shelf, and we're getting to the good figures. Of course, this one needs no introduction. Is Bespin Luke with his little lightsaber and his gun. Why they didn't get the colors right, I don't know. Take some of the accessories out of their hands. Farm Boy Luke with a broken lightsaber tip. That elusive B-Wing blaster. Tiny. Or not B-Wing, A-Wing. That just fell out of his hand. I don't know, I actually had his gun, so that's neat. Palace Guard, again, I've got much better versions of those. Let's see, here's everyone's favorite, Lobot and the Twin Cloud Car Pilot. Lobot has the wrong blaster. He's actually got Destros, so that's funny. Let's see, Gamorrean. Interesting is a lot of these common ones don't have their accessories, so I'm glad I have a bunch sitting in a bin somewhere. B-Wing has his little pew pew. And, yeah. Another Han with his blaster, so that's good to know. I didn't know I had all of them with their little blasters in their hands. I knew a lot of them were missing, and I needed to upgrade them. But yet, here's another Lando with his blaster. So a lot of these need a good dusting too. So I'm gonna have some fun with that. Gonna lay a boosh. But yeah, everybody keeps their run in a different way. Some people have those big glass cases. Some people use those baseball bat cases, which I kind of want to do. I want to have my own place where I can do whatever I want with my toys, versus having to throw them in a shoebox so somebody can look at something or whatever it is they need to do. But anyway, so yeah, this box is getting full real quick, and we're actually getting to the really rare figures, or at least the good ones. And I just knocked them all on the floor. Great. But we got Han Solo. He's got a little backpack, and these all have their guns. So. And then I have, of course, Sensor Scope Art 2, which I think I have a better one now. But this one's still pretty good. We've got a nice Bespin Leia. This is the gold neck version, or gray neck. There's a ton of little blasters. Okay, so that one we don't want to fall. Of course that's going to happen. Alright. So one of my favorites, of course, are the Emperor's Royal Guards. I've got a bunch of these. And this box is not going to cut it. So we're just going to set this down. Search for a bigger box later, but we're just going to put the rest of them in the lid here. There's a dark-haired Luke. So, these are some of the cooler figures, minus the FX7. But, we got them all. There's Carbonite Han. One of my personal favorites here is the EV-99. That's in really nice shape. I paid $10 for her. Only a couple years ago at a Transformer convention, so that was nice. I've got multiples of the common figures up here as well. There's, if you've never seen it, that's actually Turtleneck Leia, where she has, a turtleneck. Need a cape for her. So I've got Luke Skywalker as a stormtrooper. He was mint white when I got him. He's been sitting on the shelf for so long, he's a little yellowed. My good friend Matt actually gave me this really cool stand for him, where you can put the helmet on the little shelf. I definitely want to get some more of these for the other helmeted figures. Oops, there goes the helmet. Let's see. Big Papa Palpatine. Random Rebel Blaster. We've got Darth Vader, of course. I probably got 6 or 7 of him. But this is the one with the really thin Taiwan cape. So that's neat. ended up having 3 Royal Guards, 1 regular Stormtrooper with a blue-black blaster. Both the Royal Guards have their staffs, which is nice. Biker Scout has his little teeny tiny gun. Imperial Dignitary. Definitely looks like he has a nose rub. It's kind of hard for me to tell because I'm blind, but looks good to me. CATST pilot does not have his gun. Mean Numb's blue blaster. The TIE Fighter pilot has the blue blaster. Dengar with probably the most common rifle in all of Star Wars. They are just all falling. Bosk. Alright. Almost done pulling these off. I had Rebel guys in the back. It looks like none of them had their blasters. And ironically, my Snowtrooper is yellowed, has no gun, and no skirt. Yet I own 2 or 3 of them complete. Well, and I just lost the AT-AT driver's gun, so I need another one of those. And yeah, so I mean, oh, there's the Hoth Trooper's blaster, so I do have one. Very, very, very rare C-3PO bag is of course in here as well. So yeah, the tower shelf that has been up here for 20 years is now empty. Note all the figures there. So I'm gonna set those down here. So look at that, nice and clear, just like a normal person's shelf and walls, completely clear of anything fun or interesting. I should put some beer cans up here so it'll look like everybody else's shelves. Oh, missed 2-1B. There's a little cattle prod. Another thing that I had up here is a bunch of the Transformers Target Masters and 1 Power Master. So those will, yeah, I guess they're going to stay in the collection because if I do put the shelf back up, they're going to go in it. There's a bunch more of them. A giant long screw, an Imperial probe droid. And that's that. Normalized.